Hi all, welcome back to another episode of Nick's Quick Bits. Today's episode is aimed at those beginner guitarists looking to get a bit more familiar with their fretboard, particularly the notes on the fretboard rather than the fret numbers, and also to get a bit more repertoire under their belt. We're going to be looking at 4 beginner guitar songs. They are You Really Got Me by the Kinks, White Stripes, Seven Nation Army, Iron Man by Black Sabbath, and finally You Really Got Me, Cream. Alright, let's get into it. So what we really want to get out of this lesson is to start seeing our fretboard as notes rather than frets. And we're going to be concentrating on all the natural notes in these songs for the most part. So on our E string, we have the notes F, G, A, B, C, D, and E. So what I mean by natural notes is we don't have any sharps or flats. And these songs, we're going to be looking at the notes, not the frets. And when you're playing them and when you're practicing them, it's going to be really helpful if you say those notes back to you. So for example, our first song, the Kinks, rather than seeing those frets and going 1, 3, 3, 1, 3, we want to be going F, G, G, F, G, F, G, G, F, G. And then we go up to G, A, A, G, A, G, A, A, G, A, G, A, A, G, A. And then we want to make ourselves familiar with what's going on up here because we have C, D, D, C, D. And we're not going to break apart the song and learn how to do it exactly, but they are the 3 main parts of the song. To make them sound a bit beefier, if you're comfortable, start playing them as power chords. We're still rooted on the low E string, and we want our second note of our power chord always to be 1 string down, 2 frets across. Play that 2 or 4 times, up to the next section. I'm keeping it nice and simple, doing all downs with my right hand. And I want to be saying those notes as we're practicing G, A, A, G, A. And up to our third section, C, D, D, C, D, C, D, D, C, D. That's our first track. Track number 2, Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes. Really popular rock song, great track. It's really bass heavy throughout the verses, but we're going to put the guitar in because, you know, we're practicing guitar. And most of this, the majority of this, we're going to be working on the natural notes of our A string. So to figure those out, we want to start at A, obviously. So we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Try and make a mental note of those because I'll be flashing the letters up for the song, not the fret numbers. And to begin with, we're doing E, E, G, E, D, C, B. So we can look at those as single notes. E, E, G, E, D, C, B. Now to make it sound a bit punchier, particularly in the verses, I'm going to try and stop that note ringing out, which is a little technique we can work on as beginners, just by releasing the pressure of our fretting hand. So you can hear where I'm playing the long notes, and you can hear where I'm playing the short notes. If you're comfortable with your first finger, try and use different fingers. And once you're comfortable with that, try and introduce power chords, saying the notes as always. E, E, G, E, D, C, B. The second time round, it changes just a little bit. For our chorus in particular. So we have E, E, G, E, D, C, D, C, B. So we're we're just going between our C and our D. There is a little breakdown or a bridge or a pre-chorus, however you want to see it, and it is chugging 8 Gs and 8 As. So we're utilising our E string, 8 Gs, 8 As. You can do it on the A string. All downstrokes with the strumming hand, and yeah, try and get those snappy movements, particularly in the verse. And as always, saying the notes out loud to try and really reinforce what we're learning here. On to track number 3. Black Sabbath, Iron Man, made popular by Marvel, obviously recently, and looks a little bit like this. I'm moving between my E and my A string here. Good technique to start practicing, particularly for beginners, especially if you're using power chords. Let's look at the notes first. We have our B on the E string, followed by D on the A string, and then 2 E's. B, D, D, E, E. We're then introducing a little sharp note here, just after our G. We have G, F sharp, G, F sharp, G, F sharp. Playing that 3 times. A, B, C, D, E, F, F sharp, G. Make sure we understand where that is before we return to our D, E, E. So, as power chords, B, D, D, E, E, G, F sharp 3 times. D, D, E, E. Our fourth and final song, Sunshine of Your Love by Cream. I'm splitting this one up into 3 parts, and there's a nice little lead line here as well. It looks a bit like this. So, we're all mostly on the A string, particularly for our power chords, but we're starting D, D, C, D, and then we're walking down. On the D string, we're playing an A, a G sharp, and a G, which are the notes from the D blues scale, if you're interested in some of your scales and some of your theory. So we're walking one more time. A, G sharp, G, D, F, D. And I'm trying to use my little finger there, just, you know, mix things up a little bit. D, F, D. Trying to get a bit of vibrato on there as well. So that's part 1. Part 2, we're moving up to our G note. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Pretty similar. We're just moving what we're doing down here up to here, utilizing our G blues scale. So we have the notes D, C sharp, C, G, B flat, G. So putting our 2 parts together so far. Part 2. Back to part 1. And finally, part 3, hitting that A 3 times, down, up, down, F, G, A on our low E string as a power chord, up to C, down to G, and again, A, C, G, and then I think it finishes with chugging on our A's. All right, that's it for our 4 songs. All right guys, so they're the 4 tracks that I'd recommend looking at if you're a beginner, if you're a little bit lost, and they're going to help learn the notes on your fretboard. They're going to help you with technique. They're going to give you something to practice and some ideas to look at kind of in a bit more detail. I've breezed over all 4 songs. There's more detail. There's loads of lessons out there for all 4 of these, but these are 4 examples of songs where they use the natural notes for the most part on the E string and the A string, and they're good starting points for you at home to be practicing and to help learn your notes. If you are enjoying stuff like this, then please head over to veevarguitar.com, because we've got loads of courses, loads of examples, loads of teachings for learning notes on the fretboard, for playing power chords, for improving your technique, stuff that we feel beginners would find extremely useful. If you've got any questions or any comments, please feel free to leave them down below. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, let us know as well. It's really helpful for us. Give us a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.